I traveled before, but I always had in mind that I'm coming back. But this time I felt like I've seen my funeral at home. People who know me in Algeria, they know that I've never thought about exiling. It was always my objectives in life were very simple: to rent a small studio and to have a small car and a dog. This is my biggest dreams in my life. I told my mother and I told my father at the last days because I was afraid they're gonna tell people and then they won't let me get out of the airport. One of my brothers, he worked as a civil like administration. He's not a soldier, but he works in the army, and they were interrogating him a lot of times about me, and I was afraid that if he knows something and then they interrogate him, he would say that I was going. So I kept everything until the end, and then it was shock for them all. I have a lot of brothers and sisters and a lot of nephews and nieces, so they come all together and they were all crying another day. I felt like it was a funeral. I was not going because they know that I was not going back. So I've seen my own funeral before I die. When I arrived to Paris, my IQ was really low. I don't know what was happening around me. I kept on looking at people's fingers and I say, wow, it's the same. They are the same fingers. I don't know why at that time I felt like hands would be not the same from one country to another, but they are so similar hands. And then I came to Pittsburgh, undressed, took me from my home. This is how we say a house in Arabic. It's bait, and it can be actually a bait in a way. I don't know. It looks like an ass, but it's okay. I'm gonna make it look like. Oh my god, it looks like a boob now. Okay, I'm gonna make it look like a human being. It's me smiling. It's better. Actually, the notion of home starts within the mother's womb. ني يا فشة كتجي ماما تتعشى. Mama. And then from this first thing that happens to our life, we realize that actually home is not the place that we go to, but it's the place that we leave. Since the day we leave our mother's womb. And we never understand the love that we have to our homes until we leave the home. It's the same thing. Until you leave people that you love, you figure out that you actually love them. It's about leaving the place. When I came to Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh was strange for me. It was not my home for me. I went to Philly and then I stood in Philly like for a few days. The day when I was coming back, I felt that I was coming back home because I left the place. Leaving the place is what makes it home. Mama. 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 There's a saying in our culture is that people love their mother first, and then their mother, and then their mother, and then their father, and then the rest of the world. People love their mothers more than anything. So I was calling my mother, but also calling my father through that, my friends, my life, my city, my past, my future, people that I love here too, maybe. People I love in general, people and things I love. This is what I was calling them, and I said my mother as an example.
Particularly as American students, you hear about passage to America being this delightful thing, but obviously through speaking to you right now, it's clear that that's definitely not always the case.
Believe me, it's not. You know, in America, there are two Americas. There is one America for the rich and upper middle class, and another America for poor and, how to say, like the lower middle class. And there are two different mode of life. People who live from check to check and cannot save money, and sometimes they cannot, and they need to have credits, and then those credits, they go high and high and high. Students who are like 18 years old, they go to university, they start their life journey with debts. I cannot lie to Americans and tell them I like everything, because I feel that my loyalty, if I'm coming here to this country and I want to say thank you to somebody, I would say thank you to the people. It's not the government who brought me here. I would be really a coward if I would only say the good things. Actually, the novel that I'm writing is around these ideas too, but not America especially, but around the same ideas. If we say America is sovereign, that because the people of America took sovereignty of the country. If a few of the people, only just because they have money, they took control of the country, then this country is not sovereign. Then there is no sovereignty. It's a big question of independence and sovereignty, and people should ask themselves about that. Okay, Dawla means a state, so I think it's just an illusion, so I'm not gonna make anything of this one. It's also another story. It's my first article. The title was Hope. People throw stone on me. They were praying God for me in the mosque. I had problems in police, in the universities, a lot of problems. I couldn't tell you all of that, but I've never lost hope. And when people, they're saying that we'll never have change in Algeria and this generations are really, they don't really care about politics and stuff like that, I was telling them, no, I see hope. People think hope is a little light in the end of a cave and people walk toward it. No, hope is not light. Hope is how everything works in this life, is how people think about tomorrow. People, they hope about tomorrow sometimes for small things, and small things make big changes. There is always a solution. There is not just like black and white. There is infinity. This universe is built on infinity. So because it's built on infinity, there is always hope, because there is always another option. I started having the feeling of belonging to this place because, or despite the fact that I don't have citizenship yet, but the feeling of belonging is natural. You don't have it with a piece of paper. You have it when you're here. And I have this feeling of belonging now to this place. And this is why I care. When you start caring is when you actually belong to a place. And actually, this is how you belong to a civilization. When you stop caring for each other, believe me, there is no civilization. نقول لهم حاجة ما تحبس في الدنيا هذه. الدنيا هذه مبنية على الحركة ومبنية على لو موفمون، وباللي لو فات كو الدنيا هذه مبنية على لو موفمون، دونك حاجة ما تحبسش عندي، ما تحبسش عندكم. دونك كملوا وديروا الشيء اللي تحبوه. الله ده حتبقى دايما تدور على الشمس. What I said is that don't you ever stop doing things you love or feel disappointed or you feel like you don't want to do things anymore, because this universe is working through movements and cycles and nothing stops for real. Planets keep turning around other planets and stars, and this is how things work, and this is why we should always carry on. I like to say it everywhere. So I am Anwar Rahmani, and my mother was illiterate. She didn't know how to write. She never went to school. And I'm a writer, and I'm her son. That's everything.